All right, today we're going to talk about happiness versus fulfillment, understanding the difference between them. I use Gamma to do this. I write all my thoughts down on usually a question that I got from ChatGPT, and then I put it in here just for ease of time. I'm doing this so I can refine my thoughts and change them later on as I think about it, but then also to practice presentation and communication skills. So let's jump right into it. Defining happiness, it's a temporary feeling and it's a short term emotional spike that's enjoyable but is short lived. You can get this after hitting a goal, small or big. Social connection, like in social media, and sensory pleasures, like eating food or diving into an interesting hobby. Fulfillment, on the other hand, is something that's long lasting, not as enjoyable in the temporary moment, but it lasts a lot longer, kind of like a slow burn. So, um, to get fulfillment, you need something for a long-term commitment. You're gonna feel discomfort while doing it, and you're gonna have a whole bunch of small stacking victories, and you're gonna enjoy the growth behind it, not necessarily the achievement of it. So happiness fades. Usually, people get in this chase. They chase happiness without a roadmap. So you kind of keep up with the Joneses, with nicer cars, getting better apartments, traveling. But to do that, it costs a lot of money. So at least what I've observed is that when people are keeping up with the Joneses, they buy a new car and they're happy for a couple weeks, and then I don't know, maybe they find something that's wrong with it, or they get a nice apartment and eventually it just becomes a home. So then they're looking for that next thing. So then they try traveling, or they try better clothes. These are all short-term happiness things that people get, and then they're focused on the next one, which in turn makes them less financially stable, and then they're stressed out about that. That's at least what I see from a high-level picture. But the anchor, fulfillment, provides stability because you're working towards your long-term goal. You're sacrificing all these short-term material things, so you're financially stable, and then you can pursue that goal with everything you have and make a whole bunch of progress towards it. So the paradox of struggle, ironically, the moments that now appreciate the most were usually the moments that I was least happy, in like quotations there. That was when I was like working a whole bunch or grinding through college or was sleeping in like the parks in my car. That is really good fond memories that I have that I know were towards like the larger goal of saving money. Some people will say it was a little extreme, but either way, it's some of the most satisfaction times that I have. Satisfactory. So, see what this note down here says. True satisfaction often stems from the hardest chapters of our lives. At least that's what it is in my case. While happiness feels good in the moment, it is the grit and resilience developed through tough times that create a lasting sense of self worth, which one can come from finances or just unique memories, but then also the things that you develop through through the experiences. Learning through observation. So I like to watch other people and see what they do, see what their happiness is, just so I can learn from them, and then try to either replicate things that are good, otherwise get rid of the things that are bad. So something I see a lot is the desire of looking successful rather than the substance of it. You can look at this in Instagram a lot. Um, I mean, there's plenty of examples through that. One of it is like if they have a drop shipping or a hair company that says, "Oh, we're doing $100,000 in sales." I did this after a year or two. It might look like they're making a lot of money, but after their taxes and then their cost of goods sold, they're not really making much money at all. But it's a perception that a lot of people think, "Oh my gosh, I'm making a whole bunch of money." So one comparison: actions driven by what others have rather than internal drive. So looking at other people, being like, "Oh, they're making this or they're traveling here," stuff like that. Kind of you get fear of missing out. Short-term pleasure, prioritizing immediate gratification over long-term progress. Image versus reality, creating a life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. So that was all just kind of rambling. Long story short, basically, when I look at people, I try to look at what they want me to notice about them. Um, if that makes sense, this is an example of something that I need to refine later, which is why I'm doing this. We'll can't really explain much better than that. At this time, at least. So the illusion of leisure. This is what let's see. After 60 hours a week, I try what most people say to make you happy. Okay, so once I hit the 60-hour mark, I usually feel better and be like, okay, I'm reaching my financial goals and I'm learning new skills. Then I'll try out what makes me happy, treat myself, and the result was unexpected. So I did this especially after I did like these long um, stretches of work of like 6 months or more than that maybe after college and stuff. Oh, college would be a great example. I got done. I was doing like 6 classes at a time. I was gone for like 6 months out of the year, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to the U of M. I'm gonna go to the games. I'm gonna go to the bars. I'm gonna have all this happy stuff. I'm gonna do the college experience. Well, I didn't really enjoy that. I went to one football game. I went to the bars a little bit with some friends, but I didn't really like it. One week it was super fun. I'm just like, oh great, this is awesome. Week two, I'm like, okay, it's kind of repetitive. What else? Is there anything else to this? Itching to get back to work, so I can start developing something. And then that brought me to the realization is all this stuff was temporary happiness, and I crave the engagement of long-term fulfillment towards just stuff through work or finances or probably the boring things that people think. But I don't know. After a week or two of doing this, you just kind of, or at least for me, I just was wanting to get back to work. Now I did hit it hard, right after high school for a little bit, so I kind of get it out of my system. But yeah, the trap of materialism. So biggest mistake I see that everybody does is everybody chases what everyone else wants. It leads to high earners living with a paycheck, or it leads to high earners living paycheck to paycheck and drowning in vices rather than building meaning. This comes from the temporary happiness I talked about earlier. For going on vacation, clothes, car, each one of those little things gives them temporary happiness for a couple weeks or maybe a couple months, but then afterward, they're looking for the next thing to buy. So it's misguided energy, and the better question that I do not to fall in this trap is I ask myself, is this decision for my long-term purpose or the image I want others to see? Luckily, right now, I don't really have any image I want people to see. A lot of this stuff actually comes from like behind the curtains that's actually in place. Because usually, I mean, it's not on purpose, but I don't usually dress very nice. I drive a modest car, and I don't know. I'm not trying to really show anything off, which has allowed me to go towards my long-term goal rather than try to portray and keep up with an image. So this is how I have a fulfilled life. I work really hard, even if it doesn't have an immediate payoff. I think eventually the people who will help shape your life later will notice and give you opportunities for more hard work. And then also I can sleep good at night knowing that I'm working hard and I'm going towards a purpose. Family security, removing financial stresses for my family. Luckily, my family is okay. Nobody's, terribly bad with money or has a whole bunch of bad vices. So I was very fortunate to have family security here where everybody's taken care of, but I'm still saving up money later because there's one person in my family who I think long term is going to have some issues. So we can save up money there. Helping strangers and giving friends new experiences. So helping strangers, this is some of it with the homeless that I've been able to help out. Not as much as I was hoping because there's quite a bit of setbacks and challenges that come with that. And then giving new friends experiences. So when we go out somewhere or if we go bowling or ice fishing here, I've been able to save up enough money and sacrifice, the short-term things like fancy clothes and stuff like that. So I have extra money. So my friends who are going through college or whatever else, or buying a new house in a relationship and stuff, I can pay for that stuff to give them an experience, and also they don't have to worry about the financial burden to it. Now, I'm not bringing them to Florida or any big trips or anything. These are all just small things like ice house or paying for mini golf or stuff like that. But I don't know. It makes me feel good. And then impact. This is the long-term goal, and that's in episode 0. It's building a $100 million perpetuity fund to break poverty cycles, which is abject poverty. That's at least the goal. This is what I mean by giving it to Gamma and getting messed up. So, hopefully some of this is kind of tracking. But the spark versus the fire, happiness is a feeling. That's your spark, is fulfillment, which is the fire, is the foundation. If you build your life around happiness, you keep chasing it but never catch it. If you build it around fulfillment, you'll find something deeper. You're not going to get the immediate satisfaction, or maybe you'll never get the immediate satisfaction or satisfaction that you're really looking for, but you'll always have something. It sustains you, strengthens you, and then outlives you. So even if I don't reach that $100 million goal, which is probably not likely, but if I don't reach it, it'll outlive me, and then there'll still be a perpetuity fund. And even when I die, it will eventually be made. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if that was completely one conclusive thought, but that is why we're doing this, so we can practice it and get better. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.